November 12, 1942. Dusk settles over the endless dunes of Libya, 10 miles west of Tobruk. The air shimmers with residual heat, thick with the acrid tang of diesel exhaust and cordite from distant artillery exchanges. Sand whips across the horizon like a living veil, stinging exposed skin and grinding into every gear and rifle bolt. In the half-light, a column of Afrika Korps panzers, sleek Panzer IIIs and IVs, their tracks churning the desert floor, creeps forward under the command of the Desert Fox himself, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. Rommel stands in the open turret of his SD. KFZ 250 half-track, binoculars pressed to his eyes, his trademark goggles pushed up on his forehead. The wind tugs at his peaked cap, and sweat soaks his khaki tunic despite the cooling evening. His face, tanned and lined from months of relentless campaigning, is set in grim determination. Around him, his men, hardened veterans of the Deutsches Afrika Korps, move with practiced silence. Lieutenant Hans Müller, his young aide, crouches nearby, map in hand, whispering updates. Herr Feldmarschall, reconnaissance reports a British convoy ahead, 8th Army supplies, lightly guarded. Fuel trucks, rations, ammunition. Heading for the front lines near Tobruk. You can almost feel the tension coiling in the air, like a spring about to snap. Rommel nods sharply, his blue eyes narrowing. No words wasted, he's always led from the front, this man who turned the North African theater into his personal chessboard. Bold strokes, lightning advances, that's his style. But now, after the bitter stalemate at El Alamein, the game has shifted. His forces are outnumbered, outgunned, stretched thin by supply lines that snake across the Mediterranean, vulnerable to Allied bombers and submarines. Hitler promises reinforcements, but they trickle in like sand through fingers. Still, opportunity beckons. A raid like this could buy time, fuel his panzers for a fighting retreat. The signal flashes, flares cutting the twilight. Engines roar to life. The panzers surge forward, a mechanized predator pack closing on prey. Dust clouds billow, masking their approach until it's too late. The British convoy appears. A snake of Bedford trucks and Matador artillery tractors, laden with jerry cans of petrol, crates of tinned beef, and boxes of 25-pounder shells. Guards, tired Tommies from Montgomery's 8th Army, scramble to their Bren guns, but the Germans are upon them. Machine gun fire chatters, tracers arcing like fireflies. A truck erupts in flames, its fuel cargo igniting in a whoosh that lights the desert orange. Rommel's half-track veers close, his MP-40 submachine gun at the ready, though he rarely fires it. Forwards, he shouts, voice cutting through the chaos. His men fan out, infantry dismounting to mop up resistance. Oberstreiter Karl Becker, a grizzled panzer grenadier, leaps onto a truck bed, bayonet fixed, yelling orders in guttural German. Shots ring out, sharp, final. A British sergeant raises his hands in surrender, his uniform caked in sand and blood. Within minutes, the convoy is theirs. 30 trucks captured intact, drivers and guards herded into a hasty perimeter under guard. Cheers erupt from the Afrika Korps soldiers as they pry open crates. Show mal, cigarettes, real Virginia tobacco. One laughs, tossing packs to his comrades. Another uncovers tins of jam, biscuits, even chocolate bars, luxuries unseen in German rations for months. The men devour them on the spot, faces lighting up like children at Christmas. Fuel drums are rolled out, siphoned into waiting tanks. This haul could keep a panzer division rolling for days. Müller claps Rommel on the shoulder. A masterstroke, Herr Feldmarschall. Montgomery's boys won't know what hit them. But Rommel doesn't join the celebration. He paces among the trucks, inspecting manifests with a flashlight. His expression hardens as he reads. Thousands of gallons of high-octane fuel, shipped from America, crates stamped with U.S. Army markings, overflowing with condensed milk, canned fruit, even fresh-baked goods preserved in airtight tins. One crate reveals a cake, iced, intact, labeled, Happy Birthday, Private Jenkins, from Mom, with love. Shipped across the Atlantic, through U-boat-infested waters, to a soldier in the desert. Rommel picks it up, turns it in his hands. How can they afford such extravagance? The dust storm intensifies, swirling around the captured convoy like a shroud. Artillery thunders in the distance, Montgomery's guns, closing in. Rommel turns to his aides, his voice low, almost a whisper. This is not just supplies. This is an empire's might. But what does it mean for his weary corps, facing an enemy that can replace losses endlessly? The captured convoy sits motionless now, engines cooling in the gathering dark. Flickering fires from two burned-out trucks cast long, dancing shadows across the sand. Afrika Korps soldiers move among the prizes like men who have stumbled into an enemy's banquet hall, laughing, slapping backs, tearing open ration boxes with bayonets. Someone has found a crate of Scotch whiskey, bottles pass from hand to hand. A young Gefreiter holds up a tin of bully beef and shouts, "Monty sends his regards." Laughter rolls across the dunes, raw and grateful. Rommel walks alone along the line of trucks. His boots crunch softly on gravel and spent shell casings. He stops beside a flatbed stacked with jerry cans, hundreds of them, olive drab, stenciled with the broad white star of the United States Army. Each can holds 4 gallons of 100-octane aviation fuel, the same grade that powers Spitfires and Mustangs. He taps one with his boot, it rings full and heavy. Further down the line he finds ammunition pallets, 75mm shells for the Grant and Sherman tanks, 6-pounder anti-tank rounds, belts of .303 and .50 caliber machine gun ammunition still wrapped in waxed paper. Crates of medical supplies, morphine syringes, sulfa powder, plasma bottles, stacked neatly beside field telephones and spare radio batteries. He pauses at a truck carrying something different, wooden cases marked, U.S. Army Quartermaster Corps, perishable goods. Inside, under layers of ice packs long since melted but still cold to the touch, lie oranges, apples, even a few bunches of bananas shipped from who knows where across the Atlantic. Next to them, a metal box labeled, Bakery Delivery 8th Army Forward Depot. Rommel lifts the lid. Inside, wrapped in oil paper, sit loaves of white bread, soft, fragrant, impossibly fresh compared to the rock-hard Kommissbrot his men have gnawed for months. Beside the bread lies that single birthday cake, its white icing smudged with sand but the inscription still legible, to Tommy 21 today, love from Mum and Dad, Manchester. Rommel closes the lid slowly. His hand lingers on the wood. Lieutenant Muller approaches, still flushed with the victory high. Herr Feldmarschall, we've tallied it. Enough fuel to keep the entire division mobile for at least 10 days. Ammunition stocks doubled. The men are calling it the richest prize since Gazala. He grins. We hit them where it hurts. Rommel does not look up. Where it hurts, he repeats softly, almost to himself. Then, louder, no, Hans. We have not hurt them. We have merely inconvenienced them. Muller's smile falters. Rommel turns, gesturing at the convoy stretching into the gloom. Look at this. Not one truck is German-made. Not one crate carries the Eagle. American fuel, American rations, American cigarettes, British lorries carrying American plenty. And how many convoys like this do they send every week? Every day. He points toward the sea, invisible beyond the dunes. Across that water they move ships we cannot touch. Through Gibraltar, around the Cape, doesn't matter. They replace every shell we fire, every liter we burn, before the smoke clears. A sudden gust sweeps sand across the truck beds, rattling tarpaulins. Rommel pulls his scarf tighter across his mouth. His voice drops. At El Alamein we stopped them. We bled them, but we did not break them. This, he sweeps his arm toward the captured wealth, this is what breaking looks like. They can lose a convoy and never feel it. We lose one truck and half a company starves. Muller shifts uncomfortably. Then, what now, sir? Rommel's gaze drifts to the horizon where muzzle flashes pulse faintly, Montgomery's artillery, methodically searching for them. Now we use what we've taken. We fall back in good order. We dig in, we make them pay for every mile. A bitter half-smile touches his lips. But we no longer pretend we can win here. He turns away, striding toward his command half-track. The celebration around him continues, oblivious. Men sing snatches of Lily Marlene, their voices carried on the wind. Rommel climbs into the vehicle, sits heavily on the bench seat, and stares at the manifest clipboard still in his hand. Page after page of plenty. Endless columns of numbers that tell a single story. The Desert War is no longer a contest of maneuver or courage. It has become a contest of production, and the Axis is losing. Somewhere in the distance a British 25-pounder fires again, the shell whistling overhead before detonating harmlessly in the empty dunes. A reminder. Time is running out. Rommel folds the clipboard shut. For the first time in 2 years, the Desert Fox feels small against the scale of the enemy. Night has fully claimed the desert. The captured convoy forms a rough logger now, trucks circled tight, machine guns mounted on hoods and cabs, sentries posted every 50 yards. Lanterns glow dimly inside canvas tilts, throwing pools of yellow light onto sand-scoured faces. The Afrika Korps men eat like wolves, tearing into British bully beef with their fingers, washing it down with captured tea boiled over small petrol fires. Someone has rigged a gramophone. A scratchy record of Lily Marlene drifts across the perimeter, the familiar melody strangely gentle amid the smell of gun oil and diesel. Inside the command half-track, Rommel sits on an ammunition crate that serves as a makeshift desk. A battery lamp clipped to the canvas roof throws harsh shadows across his features. Before him lies the stack of captured manifests, pages fluttering in the breeze that sneaks through the open sides. He has been reading them for nearly an hour, cross-referencing tonnages, shipping dates, origin ports. New York, Liverpool, Cape Town, Alexandria, the paper trail of an industrial colossus feeding one army while his own starves. Lieutenant Muller ducks inside, helmet under one arm, a mug of tea in his hand. He offers it. Rommel takes it without looking up. The steam rises between them. Herr Feldmarschall, the men are in good spirits. They think we've turned the corner tonight. Rommel sips the tea, real tea, not the ersatz stuff made from roasted acorns. He sets the mug down carefully. They are wrong. Muller waits. Rommel finally lifts his eyes. In the lamplight they look tired, older than his 51 years. I have fought in this desert for 22 months, he says quietly. I have outmaneuvered Wavell, outfought Auchinleck, pushed to within sight of Alexandria. I have asked my men to march on half rations, to fight with patched tanks and captured ammunition, to believe that will and audacity could overcome metal and numbers. He gestures at the manifests. Tonight I saw the arithmetic. It does not lie. He picks up one sheet. American Lend-Lease statistics stamped in red ink. In the last 3 months alone, the British have received over 400 Sherman tanks. 400. We have perhaps 60 serviceable panzers left in the entire army. They replace losses faster than we can inflict them. Their supply ships cross oceans we cannot reach. Ours crawl across a sea the Royal Navy owns at night. Muller shifts his weight. Then we fight smarter. Defensive lines. Minefields. The way Kesselring wants. Rommel cuts him off with a small, sharp shake of the head. No, we are no longer fighting for victory here. We are fighting for time. Time for the Führer to open a second front in Europe. Time for miracle weapons. Time for the Americans to lose interest. A dry, mirthless laugh escapes him. I no longer believe in miracles. Outside, the wind moans through the truck tarps. A distant 5.5-inch howitzer fires, Montgomery's guns probing, never sleeping. Rommel stands, steps to the rear of the half-track, and looks out at his men. They are still laughing, still passing bottles, still believing tonight's haul means they can go forward again. He speaks so softly Muller must lean in to hear. When I was a boy, my father told me a story about a wolf that hunted alone. Strong, clever, feared. One winter the wolf found a herd of reindeer so vast it darkened the snow. He killed many, gorged himself, thought he had won the forest. But the herd kept coming. Day after day, more reindeer. The wolf grew fat, then slow. Then the herd simply walked past him. He starved watching them pass. Rommel turns back to Muller. His voice is steady, almost calm. I have seen the herd tonight. And I am the wolf. Silence stretches between them. Muller's face has gone pale under the tan. He opens his mouth, closes it again. There is nothing to say. Rommel returns to his seat. He folds the manifests neatly, ties them with a length of signal wire, and sets them aside like a verdict. Signal the division commanders at first light, he says. We withdraw in echelons toward Mersa Matruh. No rearguard heroics. We preserve the men and the machines we still have. We make Montgomery bleed for every dune he crosses, but we do not pretend anymore that we can stop him. Muller salutes stiffly and steps out into the night. Rommel remains alone in the half-track. He reaches into his tunic pocket and pulls out a small photograph, his wife Lucy and their son Manfred, smiling in a garden in Herlingen. He studies it for a long moment, thumb brushing the edge. Then he slips it back, extinguishes the lamp, and sits in darkness. The gramophone needle scratches to the end of the record. The music stops. Only the wind remains, carrying the faint, persistent thunder of Allied artillery drawing nearer. The Desert Fox has read the future written on enemy supply manifests. And it does not include him winning. Dawn breaks over the Libyan desert like a reluctant promise, the first rays painting the dunes in hues of gold and crimson. November 13, 1942. The air is crisp now, the night's chill clinging to metal and canvas, but already the promise of scorching heat lurks in the east. The captured convoy stirs to life. Engines cough and rumble as Afrika Korps mechanics siphon the last drops of precious fuel into their own vehicles. Men rub sleep from their eyes, nursing hangovers from pilfered whiskey, packing crates of rations into sidecars and rucksacks. The gramophone lies silent, crated away like a forgotten luxury. Rommel emerges from his half-track, his tunic buttoned neatly, peaked cap squared away. No trace of last night's shadows on his face, only the steely resolve that has carried him through France, Greece, and now this godforsaken sandbox. He gathers his officers in a tight circle near the command vehicle. Generalleutnant Walter Naring of the 15th Panzer Division, Oberst Eduard Kreisman from the 21st, and a handful of staff captains. Maps are unrolled on a truck hood, weighted down with empty shell casings. Muller stands at Rommel's elbow, notepad ready. "Gentlemen," Rommel begins, his voice carrying clear in the still morning air. "Last night's success was a gift. But gifts do not win wars." He traces a finger along the map's blue line, the coast road snaking west toward Benghazi and Tripoli. Montgomery has the bit between his teeth. His 8th Army outnumbers us 3-1 in men, 5-1 in armor. And now we know why. Their supplies flow like the Nile in flood season. Ours, a dribble from Italy, choked by Allied air and sea power. Naring leans in, his monocle glinting. "Then we strike back, Herr Feldmarschall. Use this fuel for a flanking maneuver, cut off their vanguard at Sidi Barrani." Rommel shakes his head. "No, no more offensives. We have poked the bear enough. From today, we pivot to defense. Ordered withdrawal to the Fuka position, then Mersa-Matruh if needed. Leapfrog the divisions. 21st Panzer covers the rear, 15th pulls back first. Mine the roads, booby-trap the wells. Make every kilometer cost them dearly in blood and time." Murmurs ripple through the group. Kreisman frowns. "But the Führer, Berlin expects us to hold Tobruk at all costs." Rommel's eyes flash. "Berlin is 1,000 miles away, sipping coffee while we drink sand. I will not sacrifice the corpse for a fantasy. We fight smart now, elastic defense, hit and run. Preserve our strength for Tunisia, perhaps Sicily. The desert is lost, but the war is not." He straightens. "Signal Kesselring at once. Request air cover for the retreat. And burn what we can't carry, deny Montgomery even the crumbs." The officers salute and disperse, orders barking out like pistol shots. Trucks rev up, forming columns. Infantry clamber aboard, rifles slung, faces set in that peculiar mix of resignation and defiance only veterans know. A squad of engineers unspools wire for demolition charges on abandoned vehicles. Explosions will echo soon, sending plumes of black smoke as signals to the pursuing British. Rommel climbs back into his half-track, the driver gunning the engine. As they pull out, he glances back at the convoy, now integrated into their own ragged line, a Trojan horse of plenty that has revealed too much. You can almost taste the irony. The very spoils that buoy his men's morale have sealed his conviction of defeat. The column snakes west, dust trails rising like funeral pyres. Hours pass under a merciless sun. The retreat unfolds methodically, but not without cost. Scout planes buzz overhead, British Blenheims, spotting for artillery. Shells begin to fall, bracketing the road in geysers of sand and shrapnel. A Panzer IV takes a direct hit, turret flipping like a coin toss, crew spilling out screaming. Medics rush forward under fire, dragging the wounded to cover. Rommel halts the column briefly, directing traffic from his turret, voice calm amid the chaos. "Keep moving, no bunching up." By midday, reports filter in via radio. Montgomery's led elements, New Zealanders and armored cars, probing their flanks. A skirmish erupts near a wadi. German 88mm guns, those versatile killers, bark defiance, shredding a pair of Crusader tanks in flames. But for every Allied loss, 2 more appear on the horizon. Rommel listens to the crackle of updates, his map marked with fresh pencil lines retreating westward. In a rare moment of pause, as the column halts for water, Rommel confides again to Muller. "See that?" He points to a flight of American P-40 Warhawks streaking low, unopposed. "Yesterday's raid showed me their depth. Today confirms it. We are not facing an army, we are facing a machine. Oiled by Detroit factories, fed by Midwest farms, crewed by boys from Manchester and Melbourne." Muller nods grimly. "And us? What machine do we have?" Rommel's reply is a ghost of a smile. "Ours is human, brave, but breakable." The sun climbs higher, baking the retreat into a grueling march. Whispers spread among the ranks. The fox has changed. No more daring dashes, no more dreams of Cairo. Defensive stands now, a fighting withdrawal. But why? The captured convoy's tail circulates, tins of fruit, endless ammo, that absurd birthday cake. It sinks in slowly. The enemy can afford to lose. They cannot. As evening approaches, the column digs in for the night, Foxholes scraped into the hardpan, sentries peering east where Montgomery's fires flicker like distant stars. Rommel pores over dispatches by flashlight, Italian divisions crumbling, Luftwaffe sorties dwindling. The pivot is complete, from hunter to hunted. But in this shift lies a deeper unraveling. The Axis grip on Africa slips, one sandy mile at a time. And with it, the gateway to Europe cracks open. The retreat grinds on through the blistering days and frigid nights of late November. The coastal road, Highway 1, scarred by bomb craters and littered with the husks of burned-out vehicles, stretches like a weary vein westward. Rommel's Afrika Korps moves in disciplined bounds, panzer divisions alternating as rearguards, infantry digging hasty trenches only to abandon them hours later. Dust hangs perpetual in the air, a choking fog that coats throats and clogs carburetors. Water rations dwindle to a liter per man per day. Men lick dew from tarps at dawn, dreaming of the Rhine's cool flow. Montgomery's 8th Army presses relentlessly. Armored cars of the 7th Armored Division, the Desert Rats, nip at their heels, probing with Vickers machine guns and 2-pounder shells. A clash erupts near Agatabia. German POC 38 anti-tank guns ambush a column of Valentines, turning 3 into pyres that blacken the sky. But the British simply detour, regroup, and advance anew. Air raids come like clockwork, RAF hurricanes strafing supply trains, dropping 500-pounders that shake the earth. One bomb clips a fuel lorry from the captured convoy, it explodes in a fireball, scattering flaming jerry cans like lethal confetti. 2 men die screaming, their screams lost in the roar. Rommel directs from the front, his half-track weaving between columns, radio handset glued to his ear. Hold the line at Wear-It. He orders over static laced channels. Flank with the 88s, make them pay. But even as he speaks, dispatches pour in, Italian allies routing under pressure, the Arik division shattered at El Agheila. Mussolini's troops, brave enough, but equipped with obsolete Caro Armato tanks and scant motivation, melt away like mirages. Rommel cables Berlin, supplies critical. Luftwaffe support negligible, enemy air superiority absolute. The reply from OKW is terse, hold at all costs. Reinforcements en route. He crumples it, knowing the truth. Those reinforcements sail into a Mediterranean graveyard, torpedoed by British subs or bombed by flying fortresses. You can almost hear the inexorable grind of history shifting gears. That single convoy raid, once a triumphant haul, now haunts like a prophet's vision. Rommel confides in his diary, scribbled by flashlight in a foxhole, the enemy's resources are boundless. Ours are finite, Africa slips from our grasp, and with it, the southern flank of Europe. He thinks of the birthday cake again, that frivolous emblem of Allied abundance, and wonders how many such cakes rot in depots from Casablanca to Cairo, untouched while his men ration biscuits. By December, the corps reaches the Tunisian border, a ragged shadow of its former self. Tripoli falls without a fight. Rommel orders it evacuated, warehouses torched to deny Montgomery the ports. Flames lick the night sky as the last Axis ships slip away, laden with wounded. The Desert Fox gazes back from a hilltop, binoculars scanning the eastern haze where British searchlights probe. We have delayed them, he mutters to Muller. But delay is not victory. Muller, bandages on his arm from a shrapnel wound, nods silently. The men's faces tell the story. Hollow cheeks, eyes sunk in exhaustion, uniforms threadbare and salt-stiff. In Tunisia, the noose tightens. American forces under Eisenhower land in Morocco and Algeria, Operation Torch sealing the trap. Rommel meets with von Arnim, the new commander in Tunis, in a villa amid olive groves. Maps dominate the table, red arrows of Allied advances converging like jaws. We can hold the Mareth line, von Arnim insists, finger jabbing the fortifications. Rommel shakes his head. With what? Ghosts. Our panzers are down to 40. Fuel for a week. The Americans bring fresh divisions daily. Eisenhower has 1 million men staging in Oran alone. The argument drags into the night, cigar smoke curling under the low ceiling. Rommel argues for a unified command, a mobile defense to bleed the Allies before evacuating to Sicily. But Hitler intervenes via telegram, no retreat. Fight to the last man. Rommel's face darkens. He knows the endgame now, senseless sacrifice for a leader blind to reality. Battles flare. Kasserine Pass, where green American troops falter under panzer assault, a brief flicker of the old Rommel magic. But it's Pyrrhic. Montgomery breaches Mareth in March 1943, linking with Patton's forces. The Axis pocket shrinks, squeezed between mountains and sea. Supplies dwindle to air-dropped canisters, often landing in Allied hands. Men eat captured sea rations, fight with Tommy guns scavenged from the dead. Rommel, ill with desert sores and fatigue, flies out in April, recalled to Berlin, ostensibly for health, but really to muzzle his criticisms. He leaves his corpse to von Arnim, who surrenders in May. 250,000 Axis troops captured, the desert war extinguished. Tunis falls, Churchill bells ring in London. The path to Sicily, Italy, Normandy lies open. Back in Germany, Rommel stares at maps of Europe, the convoy's lesson etched deep. Wars are won in factories as much as foxholes. The Desert Fox's revelation in those Libyan sands marked not just Africa's loss, but the Reich's unraveling thread. Yet in the ashes of defeat, a question lingers: could one man's glimpse of enemy plenty have altered the tide, or was the doom written in the stars? Rommel steps off the Junkers Ju-52 onto the tarmac at Rastenburg, East Prussia, the Wolf's Lair humming with the drone of generators and the sharp salutes of SS guards. April 1943. The air here is thick with pine resin and paranoia, a far cry from the desert's dry bite. His uniform hangs looser now, the toll of jaundice and diphtheria etching lines deeper into his face. Hitler greets him in the bunker conference room, maps of the Eastern Front sprawling like wounds across the table. "My desert fox," the Führer says, clapping him on the back with forced joviality. "Tell me of Africa. We will reclaim it. New tigers, new divisions." Rommel stands rigid, the weight of those captured manifests still pressing like sand in his pockets. He speaks carefully, voice measured. "Mein Führer, the situation is grave. The Allies' resources dwarf ours. I saw it firsthand, a single convoy carrying more supplies than our monthly shipments from Italy. American tanks roll off ships by the hundreds, our U-boats sink a few, but the flood continues. Tunisia will fall. We must consolidate in Italy. Fortify the Alps." Hitler's eyes narrow, his hand slamming the table. "Nonsense. No retreat. You held them at El Alamein, do it again." The rant builds, spittle flecking the air, promises of wonder weapons and unbreakable will. Rommel listens, but his mind wanders back to that Libyan dusk, the birthday cake, the endless crates, the arithmetic of defeat. He nods assent, but inside, the pivot is irreversible. The man who once dreamed of Suez now sees only the inevitable, Allied boots on European soil. Recuperating at home in Herlingen, Rommel pores over intelligence reports smuggled by loyal aides. Montgomery mops up in Tunis, 250,000 Axis prisoners march into camps, the Afrika Korps a memory. Eisenhower turns east, eyes on Sicily. Operation Husky launches in July, American and British troops storming beaches under naval barrage, paratroopers dropping like lethal rain. Messina falls, Mussolini topples. Rommel, recalled to command Army Group B in Italy, races south to stem the tide. "We fight for every ridge," he tells his staff, echoing his desert orders. But the pattern repeats. Allied air supremacy reigns hell. Supply convoys, now Italian roads clogged with Sherman tanks and jeeps, overwhelm his defenses. At Salerno, then Anzio, Rommel's lines bend but hold briefly. He innovates, camouflage positions, mobile reserves, but the enemy's plenty erodes it all. American artillery shells fall like monsoon rain, his own guns ration rounds. In private letters to Lucy, he writes, "The vision from that convoy haunts me. It was not just supplies, it was the future. We cannot match their factories, their oil, their resolve." Whispers of conspiracy swirl, old comrades like Stauffenberg plotting against the regime. Rommel wavers, meets in shadows, but commits little. His focus, the Atlantic Wall, now under his inspection as commander in the West. By 1944, Normandy's beaches bristle with obstacles, but Rommel knows its facade. The first 24 hours will decide, he predicts to aides. Panzers positioned inland, per Rundstedt's orders, but he argues for coastal deployment, too late. June 6 dawns with Overlord, thousands of ships, gliders, bombers. Allied paratroopers seize bridges, beaches run red but yield. Rommel rushes from home, arrives to chaos, divisions pinned, supplies flowing across mulberry harbors. That old revelation burns. Endless Allied resources, now pouring onto French soil. Strafed on a staff car near Vimoutiers, Rommel's skull fractures, his war ends in a hospital bed. The July 20th plot explodes, his name surfaces in interrogations. Hitler offers poison or trial, Rommel chooses the capsule, October 14, 1944. State funeral, lies of a heart attack. But his legacy endures. The Desert Fox, who saw defeat in a captured cake, who shifted from dash to defense, foreshadowing the Reich's collapse. In the war's closing acts, Ardennes, Berlin, the Allies, logistical might crushes all. Factories in Detroit and Manchester outproduce the ruins of the Ruhr. The push to Europe, seated in those Libyan sands, culminates in V-Day. Rommel's moment of truth, amid dust and artillery, proved prescient. Empires fall not just to battles, but to the quiet calculus of supply. What if he had spoken louder, earlier? The question fades into history's echo, but the lesson remains: wars are lost in warehouses as often as on fronts.